Hey guys, this is the beginning of my video diary for my documenting of my journey through trying to get some of my symptoms diagnosed for chronic illness. Today I have a new appointment and I feel as if it is a good place to start right before I go talking about my nervousness. I am totally nervous because honestly I view new doctor appointments as sort of like a really bad first date, and we found each other on the Tinder of sick people called the Ill Connection, and the doctor was all like, swipe left, ooh, swipe right, this lady has really complicated blood work and all these amazingly broad symptoms. I want to speak with her, let's have a first date. That's how I feel. That's how I feel when I go to my doctor's appointments, and I'm like the oversharing drunk person. I'm like, I just have like all these symptoms, I don't know what to do with them, but you need to listen. And the doctor's like, holy smokes, what did I get myself into? Where is the door? Can I fake a sickness? Somebody page me now. That's how I feel. But it's important as sick people, chronically ill peeps, what's up, to talk about how we feel and to keep good documentary about what we do in day-to-day life and our symptoms. I keep diaries. You guys know I love lists. So I have my lists. I have my prep. I have talked to myself about being worthy enough to go to these appointments. And I'm keeping myself honest by documenting this for you guys and being really honest. I'm so freaking nervous. I'm so nervous, guys. Ugh. This was a doctor that was recommended by a couple of my good friends here in town that are also chronically ill. I'm hoping to have a spiritual connection, the ill connection, with this doctor. So I will pack my camera and I'll hit you guys up in my van in my van. That sounded really shady. Either way, I'm going to this appointment, I'm making myself go, and I'm hoping that we can start on a pathway to understanding what's going on with me, and just, yeah, having it be an open, candid conversation about healing, because that's all I want. I want to feel better, or I want to at least know what's going on so that I can control the variables behind it. If you're hurting today, if you're sick, if you're undiagnosed, if someone's told you you're making up your symptoms, or that your invisible illness is not valid, you're gonna have days where you feel that way, and you're gonna have days where you feel sad, and you're gonna have days where people can get into your worthiness and attack and make you question yourself. But that doesn't mean that you're not worthy of healing, and it doesn't mean that you're not a valid human. It just means that you need to get with yourself and figure out how you're gonna attack what's going on, and how you're going to, in a healthy, awesome manner, get yourself on track to understanding what's going on with yourself, and to make a team around you of people that are willing to help you through it. So that's what I'm starting to do today. So off to my first ill connection. Hey guys, so past my first ill connection with my new doctor, and she is awesome. Now, if you don't know the feeling behind a chronically ill person who finds an awesome doctor, it's like Christmas Day and you get the pony, okay? I got the pony today. We ordered a lab workup, another thyroid scan. I had one done a year ago and I had something like 20 cysts on my thyroid, but none of them were remarkably enough to take from. She told me today that my thyroid is super enlarged, and also she feels like I might have a goiter on the front of it. So we're gonna work through that. I'm gonna go get labs, and yeah, moving on from there. Woo! Winning! All right guys, I'll check in with you a little later. Bye! Hey guys, I told you I would hit you up once I got home, as I had something specific I wanted to talk to you about that I didn't think I was gonna have to address today, I guess, in my doctor's appointment. So first date, as I call it, for the ill connection, if you guys know my funny little jokes, inside jokes there, went great. Dr. C is super caring and she listened to me. She ordered a ton of blood tests, so much so that we actually broke the computer entering them in, which is always awesome. And we have a plan, you know, for eliminating certain things so we can move on down the path towards other things. I guess I should start explaining this next part as a past event. 8 years ago, after I had my first child, I developed some post-baby hypothyroidism, which is pretty common. And I went in and had my thyroid scanned, and I had 2 cysts. And the doctor kind of explained away, you know, this happens and blah, blah, blah. And if you're, you know, if your symptoms persist, then come back. And they did get better. And I went on to have 2 more children without any perceived problems with my thyroid. Last December, I had some thyroid stuff crop up, problems that I felt were related to my thyroid. So I went to another doctor and had another scan done. Come to find out, my thyroid had changed. Now, this is a year ago. I found out I went from 2 cysts to almost 22 cysts in my thyroid. The doctor that I visited with at that time said that none of the cysts were markedly big enough to draw from, and that they wanted me to have another scan done in 6 months to a year. Fast forward to now, it's been almost a year and 2 months since my last thyroid scan, and Dr. C brought up today that she visually could see that my thyroid was protruding past the muscles in my neck. And one of the complaints that I had, the ailments that I had put on my paperwork that I guess I really just didn't even think about because I wasn't going in to talk about my thyroid, was that I felt like I was being choked in certain positions and it was hard to swallow. She walked around the side bed and felt my thyroid and said, "Your thyroid is enlarged. I want to have another scan done." So on top of everything else that's going on, now I am adding thyroid issues to the mix, you know, the fun mix, the spoony mix, the autoimmune mix. So I go in and sometime next week for another scan on my thyroid. So this will be the 3rd one to look and see what's going on. I wasn't ready to hear that. I was going in to talk about lupus and my fibromyalgia and my fatigue and managing my symptoms and how are we going to get past what's going on with my body. And to have the thyroid thrown at me was really scary. Why does it scare me? It scares me because cancer runs in my family. It scares me because the chances that there's something serious going on with my thyroid are pretty high considering my past history. It scares me because I didn't have time to prep. So as much as I prepped all my paperwork and the things I wanted to discuss with Dr. C, I wasn't ready to hear that I had a problem that I hadn't perceived I wanted to talk about. Why is that good? That's good because that means I have a doctor that is willing to look at all of me, even the things that I'm not talking about, and is willing to look at my past history, medical history, and factor it into who I am now. It is a blessing because had I gone to another doctor who would have known that I hadn't complained about my thyroid and I hadn't specifically brought that up in conversation, it could have gotten overlooked. Though I am uncomfortable with knowing that there's probably something wrong with my thyroid, I am thankful that Dr. C was able to be mindful of the whole human body that is mine, my past history, and how we're going to tackle my health and schedule that thyroid ultrasound. Now, I don't know how this changes what's going to happen with me the next few weeks. I know this is my first entry into my video diary for you guys. I'm just going to keep talking. I'm going to keep talking about all the little things that happen. I have to go get a fasting blood test tomorrow, so get up, take the kids to school, and then my good friend is going to drive me to the lab, and I'm gonna have a ton of blood taken. Dr. C said, you know, you probably want to have somebody drive you because this is a lot of blood and we're pretty sure you're anemic, so let's go ahead and address that. I'm a little terrified. I just want to like go right now and get my thyroid scanned. And I feel like I'm super vulnerable, and maybe it's because I'm an abuse survivor, and maybe it's because my throat has always been something that I prized as one of the prettiest parts on me. To think that I would have to have it cut and have something taken out, or that I'm gonna have to lay there and have them press and do all the things around my neck that are part of a thyroid ultrasound, is something I'm gonna have to prepare myself for, because I'm not a good patient when it comes to waiting for the actual appointment to come. I am a nervous patient. I will talk about that a lot. So how am I gonna tackle this? I am going to collect my previous ultrasound stuff. I'm going to do my research, brush up on my thyroid knowledge, and be prepared. That's all I can do. I have to remove my stress from the situation because I have no control. I am lucky enough to have a doctor that wants to give me a tangible result with my health, and I just have to focus on that. So with that, guys, I am gonna call the lab and make a time tomorrow morning to go in and get my blood drawn, and I will probably check in with you guys tomorrow about the blood draw and how it made me feel. And a little side note here, and I think that every single phlebotomist I've ever met has told me this. They go to poke my arm and they say, this should be no big deal, you got tattoos everywhere, this little needle, and I always tell them it is not the same. Put them needles to my skin any day if you're drawing a pretty picture. But if you're sticking it in me to take blood, it causes a little bit of nervous Nelly in me. Anyways, I'll chat with you guys sometime this week, later this week probably, after I've collected more of the video diary. And as always, if you are in pain, if you are chronically ill, I see you. And there's healing somewhere. You just gotta go look for it, alright? Bye, guys.